Needless to say, yes, it was quite eventful. Um, I mean, just absolute insanity on every definition of the word. Um, but Donald Trump survived an assassination attempt yesterday. Deepest condolences and prayers to the family of the hero that died in the crowd, and then to the others that were injured. So everyone affected by the shooting that took place yesterday at the rally, our prayers are with you and our thoughts are with you, as we're all united in praying for you and hoping that everyone's okay. But I mean, I've wow, just the fact that we were a couple inches away, a couple meters away from Donald Trump being dead, from a successful assassination. That just absolute insanity that we witnessed yesterday. Now is not the time for division or playing politics at all. Now is the time to come together and to show unity. Absolutely, J Boy, I agree. Prayers for everyone affected and involved, but now is not the time to play politics. Now is the time to unite and come together. I will say this though. Whenever you compare one man to Hitler, you call him a racist, a sexist, a misogynist, every name in the book. You say that he's going to be the ender of the end of American democracy. That kind of rhetoric is very dangerous, and that doesn't just come from one side. That can come from both. Rhetoric, like the rhetoric that Donald Trump has faced, during his whole political career, is the kind of rhetoric that leads to things like this. And that is what needs to be tuned down and stopped in this country, because that is not good at all. Not good whatsoever. So that kind of rhetoric needs to be stopped from both sides, because it will lead to things like we saw yesterday, where we were a couple millimeters away from the leading presidential candidate being assassinated. It's absolutely insane that kind of thing was so close to happening. Absolute insanity. But thankfully, President Trump is okay. Although it is very unfortunate what happened to the one crowd member and then, two others that were injured. But thankfully, President Trump is okay. He is still expected to be at the RNC, which starts tomorrow, actually. So the RNC is tomorrow and will happen throughout the whole week. So Vice President will be announced this week. It's amazing what this is just insane. A lot of it just happened. And now it goes straight to the RNC this week. So the RNC will happen this week. Vice President will happen this week. And man, this is just wild. Because it's just simply, I guess like 12 hours ago. Because it would have been, right before this happened, everything was just about how Biden is old and everything like that. And now we're talking about an assassination attempt on President Trump. Great things can change. Wild times. Wild times. Absolute insanity. But I mean, this is the world we live in. So it's just crazy to think that we were a couple millimeters away from President Trump being shot and killed. But that picture of him with his fist in the air and the flag in the background, that might go down as one of the coldest and absolutely beautiful and insane pictures in American history. That is up there with. Just think, in the last year alone, the man has gotten a mugshot and then that picture. The man is a certified gangster. certified gangster. He got indicted more than Al Capone. He's got a mugshot, and he has a murder attempt on him. Absolute insanity. And this is the world we live in. But here we are. Here we are. I will say props to President Biden on what he said yesterday. I mean, now is not the time to play politics. Now is the time to unite as a country. Because clearly things have gone off the rails if we were 2 millimeters away from Trump getting killed. So obviously the country needs to heal and it needs to come together because obviously there's a deep divide. You know, we just almost had a former president and the person leading right now to be president killed. I mean, that is insane. Just wild times we're living in. But what we do know now is this. The shooter got smoked by Secret Service. Now, a lot of the details of all that is what it is. Well, they'll come out eventually. But shooter is dead. And supposedly they found 2 explosives in his car and then another in his home. And then the AR-15 that he had was purchased by his father. That is what authorities have released right now. And that is what we know. Supposedly he was registered Republican, but he donated to a pretty progressive group out of Chicago. So in Pennsylvania is a state where it's not open primaries. So if you want to, let's say you wanted to vote against Donald Trump in the Republican primary, he could have switched his party affiliation. So we really don't know his political makeup. I mean, if I had to guess, if he's a Republican, he's a never Trumper. And then if just regardless, he's a Democrat. I mean, essentially that's what he is. So I mean, there's no saying, oh, he was a Trump supporter like that. Obviously, that doesn't make sense. So I'm just insane that this all has happened and everything of the sorts. But thankfully, the threat was taken care of. Unfortunately, one person did die and 2 other rally attendees were injured. But grateful to God today that the absolute worst outcome didn't happen. I mean, this could have been a far worse situation. You could imagine we come on here today and talk, and it's Donald Trump is dead. And for one, think of what that does to the country, because you're going to have Republicans saying, you know, I mean, their party leader is our party leader would be gone. And with the convention just this like today or tomorrow, and the week or a couple of days after that, is that where in the world does the party go? You know, what in the world happens? And then you have a nation that is divided because of an assassination. I mean, it's like, you know, Abraham Lincoln and then Martin Luther King, John F. Kennedy, all huge political figures that have been assassinated, and how divided that has made the nation. It is insane to think about. Just imagine we come on here today, we're talking about how Donald Trump is dead. I don't even begin to think about where the Republican Party would go. Who would they nominate? Everything like that. What would happen with the election? It's just absolute insanity. That, I mean, we're that close. But thankfully that didn't happen. But I can't stress enough how sorry we are to the family that did lose that beloved father and all others who were hurt. And there is a GoFundMe that you can go to and support the families and the families of the victims. And our hearts and our prayers go out to them, because I mean, nothing like that should ever happen. People were just trying to enjoy a rally, going to watch Donald Trump speak. People that were passionate about making this country great again. That's all. And instead, bullets fly, and the whole thing is ruined. And unfortunately, a life was lost. Very sad to see. But I do think that there will be a lot of good that comes out of this. I think the nation will hopefully come together a little bit, turn down a lot of the rhetoric that we have. And I know that, I mean, I'm more passionate than ever about supporting President Trump after yesterday. If you see that after everything as well, and that you don't feel more passionate to support President Trump, then I don't know what to tell you, because they have tried everything to get this man and to stop him, but they just can't do it. They just can't stop him. I mean, seriously, you can't say that he's in this just for himself anymore. He literally took a bullet and he's still fighting. Man literally took a bullet and he's still fighting. So you cannot ever say that Donald Trump is in this for himself, because that could not be further from the truth. Donald Trump is a fighter and he will never quit. He will never surrender, because we've got a country to save and nothing's going to stop us from doing that. And that's what we're going to do in November, hopefully, Lord willing. Because, gosh, man, yesterday I was shocked. I was just trying to enjoy dinner with my family, and I just checked my phone like I do occasionally, and I get it, and Donald Trump has been shot, shots fired at the Trump rally. And I immediately just go to Twitter, and there it is, and I see the video of Trump pumping his fist, pushing through Secret Service. And that is just one of the most inspirational and vigorous moments I think this nation has ever seen. Because he had every excuse just to want to get away as fast as he could, even though, yes, the shooter was down and it was clear situation. But Trump could have had every excuse just to want to get away quickly and get to the hospital. But no, he wanted to tell his supporters and ultimately tell this country that he was indeed okay. I think that was a very great moment of strength. And I think it's something that can inspire everybody, left, right, center, whatever. I mean, there's no doubt about it that President Trump is a tough man. And what we saw yesterday is just even more indicative of that. Absolute wild stuff that we saw yesterday. All right, it looks like President Biden will be holding a news conference at some point today, if not now. Just got that notification. We'll see what that's all about. I'm looking for more updates because there's a lot of mystery going on. Because, I mean, who is this guy? What are his connections? I mean, obviously, I think we know some of his motive just based off, common sense. But, I mean, who is this guy? How did he get explosives? Just stuff like that. I want to delve, deeper into who he is. Obviously, there's some things that were wrong. Goodness gracious, I can't fathom what we witnessed yesterday. It's just insane. But thankfully, President Trump is okay, and hopefully, we can push forward as a nation and try to move on from this, because goodness gracious, just wow. Y'all are welcome to tell me your thoughts down below on everything that happened yesterday. And to those that would say that it was staged, you're evil, because that you could not tell me that was staged. Why in the world would something like that be staged? That is absolutely sickening that people would think that. Absolutely sickening. How the first time you look, you see someone get shot, someone else get killed, and others get shot, and you say, "Oh no, it was fake," because Donald Trump can't, and nothing can ever happen to him, and he's so evil that he would do this and that. No, you shut up. You shut up and go learn and cry, because there is a whole lot more to this than just Donald Trump. You can't not look at these things and not take it for what it is. A former president was almost killed. Almost killed. And you want to say, "Oh, it was staged." how sickening do you have to be? A father was lost yesterday. 2 other attendees badly hurt. And the first thing you want to say is, this was staged? Get out of here, man. Get out of here with that crap. That is sickening to think about, that some people will watch that and go, oh, it's staged. Shut up. Please go home and rethink your life choices. Please, goodness gracious. That shouldn't be a time for us to, oh, Donald Trump this, Donald Trump that. Why did he miss? No. Former president was almost killed, and I think we all know the ramifications. What would happen if he did indeed wind up getting killed? How unfortunate that would have been. I do also want to talk about how in the world did this dude get within 300 yards of President Trump and get on a rooftop? How in the world did Secret Service at least not see him? How in the world did Secret Service not do anything about it if they did see him? Because I've seen some interesting videos where Secret Service is trying to get people to move, and like you can tell that something's going on, but they still have Trump on stage. Like, your priority there as Secret Service is President Trump. So I have no earthly idea what in the world. Obviously, there needs to be an investigation into what happened, and there needs to be an investigation into Secret Service, Homeland Security, whatever departments we need, because seriously, there were some failures as far as security is concerned. I don't think there's any doubt about that, none whatsoever. How in the world do you let someone, let alone with a gun, how in the world do you just have someone on a rooftop within 300 yards where Trump is speaking outside and not at least see him or do anything about it? Because there's videos of the people saying that they were trying to warn the police or whatever. I mean, just goodness gracious, like, how in the world were we this close to this happening? And I mean, obviously there were some just systematic failures on the hands of Secret Service and whatever law enforcement was there, and hopefully that's addressed, and hopefully that's talked about and investigated, because something needs to happen. Because I mean, clearly there were some failures going on there, and you don't ever want to see that. You never want to see that. So we need to know what happened, and hopefully things get sorted out. There's accountability, everything like that. So hopefully that's the case, because I mean, goodness gracious. 2 mil, maybe not even 2 millimeter. I mean, and you saw Trump moved his head right before the shooting started to happen. If he had kept his head in that one direction, then I mean, Trump would be dead right now. I mean, we were so freaking close to Trump being dead right now, and that is just insane to think about. We were that close to losing a president, and then all the systematic failures as far as security is concerned, is everything like that. I mean, think about how many people were there. There was, golly, it looked like there was 15,000, maybe more than that, people there. Just an absolute insane crowd. I don't know if y'all seen the videos, but and then and for it to be outside the rally that the shooting came from, it's just wild. And yet you see the videos, there's snipers on the roof, roofs just observing everywhere. How in the world did this guy get on a roof without without Secret Service doing anything about it? That is just, it's mind-boggling to me. It's really mind-boggling to me how it all happened. But thankfully, President Trump was okay. And I can't reiterate it enough that heart, prayers, thoughts, everything goes out to the victim's family. The person that did lose their life, and prayers to those that were injured, and just everybody affected and traumatized by, everything that happened yesterday. I mean, the dude in the crowd, his head was practically blown off. That's how, I mean, I can't imagine how many people were there that witnessed that and are now, PTSD, trauma, everything associated with that. They are all involved. I mean, a lot of people involved here. Secret Service, law enforcement. I hope we get to the bottom of it one day, because now obviously something very wrong happened there. Something very wrong happened there, logistically, whatever. So hopefully that can get changed. Hopefully that can get fixed, and there's accountability, because that was terrible. in no world is what we saw yesterday okay. I mean, goodness gracious. I'm also hoping we can get to the bottom of the shooter, his background. I'm not going to say his name because I don't want to give fame to people like that. I don't want their names because that inspires more people. That's a lot. There's a lot of psychology behind that and studies that have been done whenever you're talking about school shootings or just mass shootings in general, that if you give the publicity and the fame and being recognized as part of the reason why some people do things like that. So I'm not going to say the dude's name. I mean, he's a sick individual, and I hope he gets what he deserves because, goodness, I mean, what in the world? But it's just a sad state of affairs that some people feel that motivated just to kill a person because they disagree with them politically. And that's just another thing is that we got to tune this rhetoric down. We got to start tuning it down because when you compare someone to Hitler, you call him a racist, a sexist, misogynist, you name whatever name in the book, fantasizing about his death, in Hollywood, all of these things, like, that's the kind of stuff that's got to be stopped. And I'm left and right. Like, if Republicans are doing the same thing about Biden, that's got to stop too, because that's what leads to stuff like this, where people feel motivated enough to kill a person. I mean, seriously, that is just. Hopefully, this country can get healed, and we can try to. I think we can move on more united as a country from this, because I even saw people like Cenk Uygur, super uber duper leftists and progressives that hate Donald Trump, that they're like, well, yeah, I mean, this is sick. Obviously, the country can unite in the fact that this is terrible and we should never want to see something like this happen again. And I think everyone can agree with that. I don't think there's anything controversial about that. I don't think there's anything wrong with saying that, because it's very true that we as a country cannot, we cannot let us be torn apart like that. Because I mean, you can't look at what we saw yesterday and be like, oh, there's some sort of no. Everyone can agree that that was sick, and that we all, I mean, seriously, goodness gracious, a couple millimeters away from President Trump being killed. But I mean, that's just where we are as a country right now, and hopefully we can move on from it, like I said. But the RNC this week is going to be very interesting. Republican National Committee, and hopefully things get worked out. Um, yeah, Melania Trump put out a really good, beautiful statement um, in support of her husband and President Trump. Because, I mean, goodness gracious, you think that, I mean, we almost saw a president get assassinated on live television. That his rally was being broadcast everywhere, essentially. It's just insane. But President Trump proved himself to be very, very strong yesterday, where he pushed through Secret Service and let the country know, he let the world know that he was okay. But man, it's wild. It is wild, to say the least. Wild. I'm still, sort of shocked by it all. I'm curious to hear what y'all think about it. But man, I'm just glad that he's okay. I absolutely hate that someone did die. But I am very thankful that President Trump is okay. But man, you know what he should do? He should come out at his next RNC this week, or at his next rally, whatever. He's got to come out to Many Men by 50 Cent. That'd be insane. That'd be fun to watch. I mean, I'm just very sort of shell shocked by what happened yesterday. But I mean, look, it is what it is, and obviously the Lord's plan is going to occur. Whatever God wants to happen is going to happen. So we're just going to keep faith in Him and keep going with it all, and hopefully we can unite as a country and hopefully move forward from this and try to make the most out of a terrible situation. But with that, y'all, I'm going to end it here. Just wanted to kind of give y'all my thoughts on this all. But I hope y'all all have a wonderful Sunday. Just y'all stay safe out there, and God bless. Thank y'all for watching. Have a beautiful day.